Hey guys, Robbie. I got a special guest here to say something.
Greetings, this is Wonder Woman. You are watching Pros versus Noobs.
Actually, Wendy, that's supposed to be Pro teaches noobs. I know you like you like to do fighting and everything, but not everything's always.
And today, this is Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're going to teach you how pros do things. They do it better than their brother. They're about to celebrate becoming an only child.
Yeah, I hear you say that a lot, Azula.
Yeah, noobs are just twerps and they all need to go to bed. They sure are. I can't stand a noob. You know who's a noob? Billy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I can't stand that guy. But he is my best friend, so whatever.
Oh, way to go, Mandy. So, yeah. What they said. Welcome to Pro Teaches Noobs. Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teaches Noobs. You have with me Steph and Docs.
Hello.
And today we're going over an interesting book, The Eltingville Club. How should I put this? It's a potshot and toxic fans that started off a case where it's like, oh, they're somewhere this bad, we're never going to get to this extreme. And by the time he wrapped it up, which he decided to wrap up, it was too much on the nose. Like, he never thought that fans would ever get this bad as a larger group and everything, but soon, thanks to Twitter and all that, and certain groups out there, it did.
Yeah, I feel like trolls in general, and especially like the people that will even call themselves nerds and geeks, becoming the bullies that are like the biggest bullies because they are smarter than the others. So it's like
the gatekeepers.
Yeah, so it's like they got bullied in school, and now their way of bullying everybody else is to gatekeep everything.
And let me put it this way: no one's a good person here.
No,
in fact, most of them are psychotic.
No.
Let's get started.
Yep. Great comic.
Yep.
What? Trying to think of the right word. It's like great comic premise. I guess that's the best word.
Right. But
the character's crazy.
Exactly. And lock your windows, bolt your doors, guard your children. Anything can happen when these four youths come together, for they are the Eltingville comic book, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing game. Bill, Secretary of Comic Books. Josh, Secretary of Science Fiction. Pete, Secretary of Horror. And Jerry, Secretary of Fantasy/Gaming. Friday, 7:05 p.m. It begins. Okay, quiet down, everyone. We're 5 minutes behind as it is. Let's go. Ha! Beady. Okay, Buck. Jeez, Jerry, get a new joke sometime. Anyway, and let's go over the 2 minutes of last week's meeting. Since I'm chairman tonight, because it's my house, I'll read. And by your command. Up yours, guys. Okay, let's see. Last time out, we caught a second follow-up showing of the Crow movie, basically to reaffirm our initial opinion of it, which was basically, get it right. Okay, true. The story and acting wasn't so hot and the direction was shit, but the sets were cool and the fights were very cool, and Brandon Lee died for real as the Crow, and that's weird and cool in a way. So, the Crow was cool. It sucked. You suck. Shut up. Okay, then we ate at Burger King and got on Lion King toys and discussed the Crow. Then we again discussed the difficulty of attaining hobby-related jobs this summer, due mainly to our lack of having driver's license, the video shops not hiring, and the local comic shops have virtually all gone out of business recently. I don't get it. Wizard Magazine says comics are hot.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt you, buddy. Yeah. Is your volume up really loud, or something? You're peaking out where it's
let me check my screen.
Yeah, you're getting that distortion.
Oh, how about now? Better?
Yes, much better.
Okay, it was up high, probably because of the times when my voice was quiet.
Okay, yeah, it's still doing just a little bit of like adjusting on the higher end, but it sounds really good now.
Let me set it to automatic. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. The meeting then moved on to Josh's house, where we went over our new collection acquisition, checked out the internet for news on the Batman sequel, And then we all got into that big stupid argument about whether director John Woo's name is pronounced John Woo or John Vu. It is Vu. Oh, shut up. Okay. We then debated the vampire and Lestat casting debacle. And no, Pete, we will not discuss it anymore tonight. Really, Pete? Christopher fucking Lee? Okay, certainly old enough to be a vampire, but let's get real, huh? Fuck you, Bill. He's a modern master of horror. So's your mother, Pete. So's your face, Bill.
Jesus,
That
dude.
was funny though.
Getting vicious.
I love a
Hello.
good soldier mom.
I know. Can I finish here, guys? The minutes shouldn't take hours, you know? That's why they're called minutes, not hours. So shut up already and finish, Bill. Go. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Then we role played and went home. Duh. 712, new acquisitions. Now that the minutes are done, let's go into this week's new collection acquisitions. Jerry, beady, Buck. This week, that's going to be a reference to Buck Rogers. Beady,
oh, really?
His robot Tweety going beady. Okay, Buck.
Oh, okay.
This week I got more gaming dice, new black ones with skulls on them instead of sixes, and I found some old 70s Marvels comics, like cheap. But when I got home, I found out all the Marvel value stamps were cut out of them, which sucks. Man, bummer. But I got a Japanese-only Super Famicom Ultraman dodgeball game for Nintendo. It was over $60, but it's got all these cool enemies. It looks great. Awesome. How's it played? I don't know, because it's all in Japanese, so it's hard to figure out. I just look at the screens. Pretty cool. Eat and check this out. I got a fairly decent copy of Jackie Chan's City Hunter for only $25 from this guy in Jersey. Whoa, the picture's kind of grainy and jumpy and all, and the subtitles are hard to read. But come on, only $25? Sure, of course. Hell yeah. And I also finally got my bootleg Garage and Renson model get up. The Thing with Two Heads last Monday in the mail. I built it up last night when I watched RoboCop, the series. I did a good job on Rosie and Greyer, but I kind of fucked up Ray Millen's head, so now I might sell it. How much do you want to trade? I don't know yet. Hey, no trade till later. Josh? Well, finally, after visiting like 30 local McDonald's, I now have all the Animaniacs Happy Meal toys in doubles and all the Flintstones mugs. Remember those? The Flintstones mugs when they did the movie.
Oh, yeah.
They had those glass mugs.
And the vitamins. Those things
I'm talking about the movie mugs. I'm talking the movie mugs at McDonald's.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, the Flintstone stuff.
Yeah. Laugh it up, William. Because on my trip to Jersey with my mom, I found a Mickey D's that had old Happy Meal toys available. And look what Fatso Josh said. The kids under 3 and 3 Batman animated figure with non-removable cape that you're all looking for. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Trade. Fuck you, Bill. I'm sorry. No trade till later. Anyway, if you guys think that's cool and something, check out this action, troops. Sexy damsels of sci-fi horrors revealed. Revealed? You got it. A 2-hour clip compilation of movie nude scenes and sex scenes featuring babe types like Sybil Danning, PJ Souls, Lena Quigley, and Brink Stevens, even stuff like Denise Crosby and a whole Tracy Lords montage. Wait, hold on. They got Tasha Yar naked from Star Trek? Naked? Can you see everything? Well, yeah, that's what the guy at the Comic-Con said. I ain't seen it yet. Maybe it's the Red Shoe Diary thing she was on. That Showtime show the X-Files guy is on? I mean, I don't watch that shit. It was in the TV guide.
Oh, Jesus.
Who else is in it? Is there any space lesbian shit in it? I don't know. I brought it over so we could all watch it. Am I benevolent or what? Well, we can't watch it until my folks turn in, so keep it down, will you guys? Tasha Yar of her Starfleet uniform. Beady booter, Buck. Yeah, she's okay. I'd do her, but I'd rather have that and can't do woman from the old Trek. So, Bill, what did you get this week? I got jack shit this week. I got that long distance ad on tape with Fox Mulder from the X-Files going, put it in writing, yada, yada, yada. Other than that, I almost got a hold of a bootleg CD of soundtrack materials from the Goblins, but it didn't work out. So let's move on. Number 45, information activision. So from my internet sources and my connections at Toys R Us, after August 31st, Bandai will halt importing Godzilla toys. Toho has licensed the American film rights to TriStar, and the Americans want to sell their own toys. I, for one, am royally fucked because I need a new Fire Rodan and my dog chewed up my Angerus. We'll have to buy up as much stuff as we can and lay our hands on. And bus trip to Jap Mall in Jersey? Oh, yeah. And very much so, please. Well, my cousin Nathan told me the science fiction channel is now showing Buck Rogers, Manimal, and Automan. I'm sick of this shit. When the hell are we going to get to the Sci-Fi Channel? And when are we going to get the Sci-Fi Channel already? This was back when, of course, you know, certain places had that channel, not everywhere.
Yeah, what is happening in this book? Like, they're just planning a trip now. Like,
again, the whole joke of this is the extreme nerd fans, like stuff that guys that even that comic book guy was making fun of.
Okay, that's just so random.
Hey, some fans were like this back in the day, but trust me, this is just the tame stuff.
It just reminds me of not specifically, but that show or whatever that Kevin Smith had. Like, I don't think he's like putting people down and stuff.
Comic book
yeah,
man.
but just like dudes sitting around at their spot, just saying
just
what's
judging.
new. Yeah, what's new and yeah.
Yep, but yeah, the fact they're doing this for hours and hours and hours,
just nerding out.
And then finally they check out that video, and it was he got scammed.
Oh, no way.
Yep. Then you get the tag, like, fuck you, Jerry. Fuck you and your beady tweaky shit. So again, see, they just start really losing it.
Yeah, that's a lot of writing, too.
Yep, but I mean, I don't go to every detail, but and then we get a bit about Bill. You know, obviously he's the one who founded the club, and the joke, the irony is he formed the club so he can actually talk with people, with friends who can actually legit talk about it and not be all higher than now. And he ends up becoming higher than now.
Yeah, he becomes the guy.
Yep. Bring me the head of Boba Fett. That's where the that anime bite I showed you guys before we got started came from.
Oh, okay.
I can't fucking believe Star Trek sold out and we fucking missed it. Unbelievable. Yeah, Blake Fatso here. We would have been here early enough to get it if it wasn't for his fat ass. Fuck you, Pete. I was busy transferring the X-File episodes you were supposed to take. Not my fucking fault. Every Star Trek geek in town is here. All the stupid shows were sold out, so shut up. Guys, calm down. At least we got to see Interview with the Vampire again. Next time we call 777 Film or whatever for advance tickets. Again, this is in the 90s. I mean, look, Star Trek, Interview with a Vampire, Lion King.
Right, very little internet happening.
Or what it was Usenet. It was Usenet and everything.
Yeah, Netscape.
Yeah, well, even before that. Wait, this is around 94. This is around 94.
Yeah, AOL was king.
I'm not going to say some other words here. As you can see, like I'm not going to go that far, but yep, the guys are just arguing until they make it to the comic shop, and then they find out the comic owner has an original 12-inch Kenner Boba Fett figure. And he starts throwing out stuff, but because the two of Bill and Josh won it, that's when it leads to the trivia off, which I showed you guys.
Nice. So, like, to me, it's kind of funny. Like, as much writing as in here, it's such a meta thing that this guy is nerding out, writing about nerds nerding out on each other.
Well,
and then watching the fandom nerd out about the nerding out that he's nerding out about.
Yeah, now let's see it out.
Like, that's what's happening here.
Right. Here's where the idea came from. Around this point, Mark Waid did a story arc in Justice League, which was before it was the big names and all that stuff, and he killed off Ice from Fire and Ice, the female, character.
Yeah.
And he got death threats like you wouldn't believe. And Evan heard about it, and he's just like, "That's ridiculous. People are taking this way too seriously." And that's why he decided to use this as a way of, again, poking fun at extreme toxic fan behavior that he thought like, oh, I'm just going to turn it up to 11. Let all you know.
Yeah, exactly. That just
back then this was a joke.
Right, but at the same time, like every time we turn it up to 11, that becomes the new 1, and there's a new 11. You know, it's like
Lord.
Every time we just set a new standard of worse. Like,
yep, but yeah, of course, it eventually leads to the again. People have seen the clips; they know what this is from. Of course, like ready, and ready. They do it on like. What's Wedge's last name in Star Wars? Serious, Bill. And Tilly's, of course. Sheesh. Hey, I'm just getting warmed up and going to give you the chance. In which two Japanese shows is VR Troopers footage taken from? Super Android, Metal Hunter, and Dimension Warriors and Spellband. What's the meter's real name? Buto Horgan. What rock star played on the Star Wars Christmas album? John Bon Jovi. Name 2 songs off of it. R2-D2 and Wish You a Merry Christmas. And what do you get a Wookiee for Christmas when he already has a comb? Damn. Who played Commander Vice and Vince Elliott and Green Slime? Oh, blow me. And Richard Jackson, who drew Super Duper Man for Matt. And Wally Bullet in the Head Wood. What issue of Dynamite had a Star Wars cover? Number 63. What Star Wars card shows C-3PO with a heart on Green Series card 207? Damn. Ha. It's like May 23rd all over again. What was card 6's car and license plate in The Prisoner? And KAR 120C, you dick, who played Inframan? Daddy Lee. Everyone knows that, you idiot. Name Chewbacca's family from the Star Wars Christmas special. Big Shot, Mala, Lumpy. Yeah, one more. Wait, shit. 20 seconds, Bill. Itchy. Fuck you, Fatso. They find members of Mr. Monster Society of Evil. Bill, too many ass. I'll take it. Savannah, Ebok, Captain Nazi, Nippo, and Mr. Banjo. That's 5, Josh. And Dork, Dr. Smashy. Josh, ha, eat it, the face. And who designed the Metaview Mutant? Bud Western. Again, on and on and on and on and on and on. Now, in the show, he ended, they gave a more legit ending. When they're finally just exhausted, and Bill says, all right, who's that? Bitty, Jerry. Twinkie. So the legit, like, he's so caught in the rhythm, and his friend says beady so much that Josh just, just slips. So the legit launch. Here, it's a case where they're saying the American release time of Gojira, Ebra, Monster, Nakadia, Ebra, Horror of the Deep. Wrong, you're wrong. What? I'm not. Oh, come on, Josh. Everyone knows it's Godzilla versus the sea monster. No, you don't understand. I mixed up nothing. The original TV release for Godzilla versus the sea monster is Emperor Horror of the Deep. It is a case where he is right. Not because they're being technical on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Semantics.
But look, Bill runs to get money, so he's going around like, Tommy, you little shit, you better give me that money and tell me where Dad stashes his cash these days, or so help me, I'll kill you. He finds out he's right. He gets all this different money and everything. Just as Josh comes back saying, no, I'm right. They argue and rips the head right off. And what does the comic book story guy say? You both broke it, you both bought it. And just to stick it to him, Bill keeps the head while Josh keeps the body. Just like, I'm never going to give it to you because you busted it.
Sounds about right.
In the movie, in the show, that's what it put Bill more in the right compared to Josh. Here, they're both bunch of dicks.
Yeah, that sounds like it. I mean, they're just, they're arguing for argument's sake. Like, because then even after, it's still an argument.
Yep.
Argument over the semantics and the pettiness of it. That's funny.
Yep. And then the friends call, this is a later bit. Josh gets a phone call from the others. Bill telling he has a card he's been wanting that you would get from, cereal or, back in the day when they used to put trading cards in, stuff like that. Yeah. And of course he said, ha, got it, give me. Nope, fat chance, fat ass. I'm going to say, I just realized, this is basically South Park turned to 11 mixed with comics.
Yeah, basically.
If everyone in South Park were comic book guy, and then it was dialed up,
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, though. It's
With
like
Josh being Cartman.
that's what I used to do when I was a kid too.
Mhm.
Walk around, respect my authority.
Yep, but yeah, they start to make their rounds, which is going to stores and everything to buy stuff. They go to Taco Bell to get, all these different toys, and like, let me get the new Power Rangers toy. But of course, do you have any of the Spider-Man toys? All we got is Power Rangers. I want Power Rangers, they're dumb. I'm sorry, that's all we got. What about Batman Forever glasses? All we got is Power Rangers. And of course, they just keep. Josh is showing that he's the one so upset. He's the one who gets kicked out more than the others. You know what I mean? Because look at all this
stuff. Out of the comic shop that much.
Well, no, it's not just comic shop. They go to
like everywhere.
Yeah, they go to everywhere. This was back in the day when they had multiple toy stuff. Nowadays, you barely get that.
Yeah, exactly. You actually had like 10 stores you could go to.
Yeah, fast food joints, all that stuff too,
Yeah.
But yep, and then he realized there's one thing he wants to really get. And but he's not gonna have a chance to get this card as much as he wants. Like, he just starts ripping open all of these Wonder Breads to find the card.
Oh my god.
Yep, and unfortunately, he gets arrested. Obviously,
for stealing a bunch of bread. Like
he's ripping them all open. Yeah,
he's ripping them all open. Not gonna pay for any of it.
I mean,
no.
It's a lot of vandalism, but still, it has to be a lot of bread.
Yeah, it's a lot of bread.
Yep.
Dune.
Yep, Dune. Like Rock Spock. And then we see Bill having a dream of being Kirk, having all the babes.
Oh god.
Yep, but yeah, it says like, "Hey, Mom, I'm living, and don't forget, I'm staying over Joshua tonight." Because they're still early high school or middle school-ish.
Yeah,
like late middle school, early high school age is what these guys are.
They drew them to look older. Right?
Yeah, they really did. But they were like high school, late
Yep.
high school.
What they said, they don't have a license yet.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yep. Now this is the point where then they see all of these toys here, and I'm telling you that steel. Oh yeah, they're saying all these steel stuff are there because basically they want the new toys in this new Man of Steel, the Superman animated series toys put up. Unfortunately, they're not going to put them up because they have a bunch of steel figures, and but they feel like the only way to get them is to get rid of steel figures. So one of them decides, "Let's set fire."
Oh,
so what? Start a fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to burn them.
Oh my god.
And wouldn't you know it? I didn't mean to. It just flamed on.
Oh god. Oh, yeah, that's not a good excuse.
Again. Now this is stuff that is like, no one's that dumb. Even the worst today aren't this dumb.
Yeah, some of them are though.
Some of them
You've
are.
seen what they're doing to groceries.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and then they're having this movie marathon, and it again goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And they start arguing. Again, the big question is, are these guys ever friends?
Exactly. But that's the thing though. I think, yes, they're actually really good friends mentally, but also hate each other competitively.
At first.
Because that's usually just how it goes though. Even some of your best friends, you compete with on an intellectual level and a physical level.
Gee.
Not just one or the other.
Yep. Here's to point out they've been staying up so late they're hallucinating.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's a cookbook.
It's
like the Cabbage Patch Kids.
They destroyed so much. And then we get a little bit more with again, was for Josh's point of view on things. Just this little story, again, just showing just how he has no life.
Sorry, 1 second, buddy. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. Like I said, you can see here, guys like Josh, it shows us how zero life they have.
Yeah, like it becomes about the argument. Like that's your best friend. That's the longest argument, longest conversation you're gonna have with someone.
Yep. I mean, look at that. He's made sure he would take a toy from a kid that's crying because he really wanted it.
Yeah, that's just scumbag behavior.
I've seen
Exactly.
like people at like games and stuff like that. You see clips like that all the time where the dad
Yep.
will quickly put the hat out in front of the kid trying to grab a ball.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
like, wow.
Yep. Super selfish. Don't care about anyone else.
Yep. And then the fact that this was at that day when they were trying to get all these raunchy sex stuff that's like they're just stupid fan made stuff, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, but they fell for it. But yeah, we also had them doing a little bit of D&D stuff. Again, it's sanity. But eventually, again, more and more stuff. Oh, okay, this is nuts. We find out these guys abduct Bill and are ready to just destroy a lot of his stuff and try and turn him against the fandom. And it turns out we find out his mom hired these guys to do this.
What the hell?
That's so
Because
weird.
she's so fed up with him being into the nerdy stuff.
Gonna hire some people to kidnap my kid.
Yeah,
Stop talking about these comics.
the whole thing is to take the whole idea of parents who throw out kids' comic books because they're like, you're too old for this. No,
Right.
that works, don't care. And they turn it up to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my family.
Yeah.
I don't have any comic books that survive.
Because they want him to live. She wants him to live normally.
Not nerdy.
Oh, geez, he pukes on them because they shove food in his mouth.
Ugh.
Yeah, and he eventually gets his way out of there.
Wow.
After, he just does all this, different stuff to annoy the hell out of him so they can finally just get him out.
That's crazy.
Right.
It also shows just how
so bad.
But it also shows just how psychotic Bill is.
Right. He could actually annoy them enough that they let him go.
Yep. And we get this one of this guy who claims he's a big comic book geek and everything. Helped doing stuff back on the TV guy, the TV shopping network.
Yeah.
Yep, and he did, but the guys would call him up, tell him how wrong he is and all that, and the guy's like, guys, stop it, just cut it. It's like, no, get these stupid nerds, don't be calling them nerds. So what did I call them? Members of society?
Oh my goodness.
Stuff like that, and eventually they all join in, push him to the brink, and again, this is a guy who's just clearly also, doesn't appreciate what he's pushing anyway, so again, everyone's is a jerk here.
Yeah, everyone's in the wrong.
Everyone. And then someone else is trying to do it, but they hear him off screen because he just loses his mind. And the guy thinks, success.
I've won. Success is mine.
Yep. And we get a colored one. And this is them just taking part of a zombie party and all that. Doesn't seem like anything wrong here, because you see people do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then this is around the time. This particular story is around the time of the Zack Snyder movie. So you had runners, and they're like, "Oh, these runners are stupid. They're ruining everything." That's not how zombies are. Zombies are broke the shamble.
Of course.
And yeah, look at that. Look at the big rant and everything.
There's so much writing. There's so many words.
Yep. So what did they do? They decided to trip them all up and So they run on home. Josh goes home and ends up, he's just imagining doing stuff, shooting his friends as zombies. But then he freaks his mom up and gives her a heart attack because of the makeup.
Oh, God.
Yep. Oh, now this is where we get to the last two issues. This is the one that was done at the grand finale. And this is what I'm going to put a lot more of the reading into.
Okay.
Because this is the one that was done in response to the toxic online fans that things started to become.
The
All
art's
right.
beautiful.
It
Oh,
is,
yeah.
though. It
And
really
I'll leave the plan on this man, this monster.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Come on, you bastard! Open the fuck up already! Huh? All right, it's you. Well, come on in. Do me a favor and try not to drip on the floor too much. I just got done cleaning up in here. 10:05 a.m. Yeah, I can see that, Joe. But I'm kind of soaked here, you know. Aquaman soaked, Submariner soaked, Triton. Okay, I get it. Hold on a second. Here, stand on these milers while I get you a shirt to change into. What size are you? Medium. Okay, let's see. Large, XL, double XL. I mean, XL, double XL, triple XL, quadruple. Here we go. I think this is a large, at least. Not for long. Them comics design shirts all shrink like Ray Palmer. Oh, cool. Thanks, Joe. No problem. Let's see. The shirt's $19.95. 9 miler studs at 50 cents. I was like, that's $27.50 with tax. But don't sweat it, kid. I'll just take it out of your first week. Now you just sit tight and dry off while I go change. Holy shit, I made it. I've died and gone to heaven. And my master plan complete. And now, only mere months after I began serving that fat fuck, the comic shop is mine. Barely an event this epic demand celebration. To me, my cosplays wenches, the god of comics requires blowjob. Just make sure not to get anything icky on the comics, okay, girls? Kid. Hey, kid, you listen to me. Jesus Christ. No. What are you, fucking drugs or something? I'm trying to talk to you and you're dicking around in the Twilight Zone. Oh, sorry, Joe. I'm just overwhelmed by all the awesomeness. Just high on comics, you know. Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, before we get started, there are a few things I want to set straight in between us. First off, is your pay and how that all works. So listen up. Get $4 cash an hour and $4 trade. Oh, sorry, and $4 trade. Plus all the hero click doubles you want, as long as they ain't good ones or ones I want. Got that? Yes. Trade ain't good on wall books and statues, magic cards, and as a bunch of other stuff. Cash is good on everything. Any problem with any of that, Pat? No problem at all. Okay, number 2. You do not go behind the counter, ever, unless I tell you, and I ain't going to tell you. So you do not go behind the counter, ever. Do you understand me? I don't care. Gwen Stacy's back there and live and in person spreading the roast beef counter out for free. You do not go back there. Okay. If a customer needs something and I'm in the back or on the can reading, you tell them to wait for me. You do not deal with the customers. Most of them are fucking crazy and got to be handled with moronic babies. So I deal with the customers. Got it? FAB. Now, this is important. The last kid I had working here, I caught stealing from me. I catch you stealing as Godzilla is my witness. I will kill you better than cell animation. Don't worry, Joe. You won't. Catch me, that is. I better not. I got customers who would eat Stanley's barely beating heart to take your place. Your fat friend gets up my ass asking for a job every time he waddles in here. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. Don't fuck it up. I won't, Joe. I absolutely will not fuck this up. Yeah. Hell, you should be grateful. I even let you in the store, let alone work here with all the stupid shit you and your stupid friends pull. If your little club didn't spend so much of your parents' money here, I'd have kicked your pimply ass out a long time ago to a shithole far, far away. Good one, Joe. You think I'm kidding, huh? I look like a fucking joker to you? No, Joe. Sorry. All right, forget it. Time to get down to business. I hope you like bagging comics. You kidding? Did the Ewok shit up a movie? Every Wednesday after I'm done bitching about my weekly haul online, I bag, board, and box those babies up tighter than Black Bolt's lips. Well, that's good, because those need bags and boards too sweet. Oh, fuck. Just remember, you're on my time. So no reading shit like you're home. Also, watch the tape. Small pieces only. And if you tear a cover, you buy that book at full guide. Hey, hey, speaking of the guide, you want me to grade and price these? Excuse me? Why don't you use my dick to pee while you're at it? I price the books in my store, you bet. But you'll have to take them all out of the bag to grade them, wouldn't you? And wouldn't it save time? Whoa, kid. I ain't unbagging shit. Fuck that. In comics, you can judge a book by its cover. That's how a pro saves time. But don't people return them and complain if they're messed up? Do you? I'm going to learn a lot here, aren't I, Joe? If you're lucky, Bucky. You keep your shit together and watch the master operate. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll open up your own shop. Just not anywhere near here. Or I'll discount war your ass into the ground. Right. Now, you keep bagging, Bilbo. I got promos and exclusives and free Artist Alley sketches to put up on eBay. After that, if the rain stops, you can help me train the kiddie pool. WTF? Train the kiddie pool? That ain't some freaky comic shop sex initiation, is it? I'm not sure that what are you, fucking psychotic? This ain't Big Sal's, you know? There's a roof leak. I got one of them plastic pools up on the ceiling to catch the water in the water until I can take care of it. Christ, kid, I run a clean shop here. Holy crap, bagging comics sucks. And bag and board, more like bag and waterboard. God in heaven, this is torture. Mind-numbing torture. Somebody called Darkseid up and tell him I found his anti-life equation. Now you know why I hired your minion at. I hate bag and chip. Help me. Great asshole poor. Hey Joe, how come new comics that don't sell are automatically jacked up in price as back issues? I've never understood that. It's like the grocery store selling old bread a buck higher. Why not dump the old soul crap to make room for better crap? Jesus, you really don't get it, do you? Come here, I want to show you something. You see, unsold comics, I see unscratched off lottery tickets. Some of these babies are going to pay off big someday. Some small, some big, and some future slab meats and hot and high graded. What, and you would toss out, would you toss out a lottery ticket without knowing what it's worth? You'll never catch me crying about how I threw out a book worth money. Whoa, I never thought about it like that. No, duh. Now get back to the Stuick. Store opens up soon, and that's enough to deal with without your horse shit. 12:20. Yeah, Joe's Fantasy World. What do you want? What that? No, we ain't got that. No. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's old, so I can't. Geez, look what he's watching.
What? I can't see it.
Porn.
No fucking course. Yeah, makes sense.
It's Joker and Batgirl. Yeah, well, even so, I'm pretty sure it's sold out. Yeah, look, I got a customer here. I gotta go. Idiot. Wow, all these autographed books, all big names. Did you get all these signed? Pfft, you kidding? Standing in lines for suckers. So where'd you get them? They don't look like in DF editions. Yeah, you get things in this business. We get our ways. That's weird. Grant Morrison misspelled his own name. 1 R 2 S's. Yeah. Oh, in other words, forged.
Scamming.
Yeah, he was probably drugged up on that withered shit, you know. Anyway, it's signed, right? It's all that matters. Do you carry IT comics? I want to buy some for my granddaughter. Archie, huh? Got some Betty Veronica from the 50s in decent shape. What about $40 each? Oh no, that's not what I mean. Do you have any new ones? New ones? Lady, they stopped making them a long time ago. But I just saw them in a supermarket last week. Well, why did you buy them then, asshole? What? Hey, whoa, nice mouse there. Don't let the door break your hip on the way out, you cheap, dried up old burp. Christ, I'll never unload these effing fucking books. Look, let me tell you how they should make a Wonder Woman movie. Anyone would actually want to see it, okay? Big budget porno.
What the hell?
This guy makes comic book guy look like a saint.
Yeah, they're all pervs. They're all freaking pervs.
But we see all of this stuff going on, just seeing that how just horrible of a guy this owner is.
Yeah, he's freaking awful.
Yep,
he's not much better though.
Yeah. Oh, but wait till. Oh, hey there. Do you have to do Saga trade? And they scare her off.
So
what was
how
that
does he
all
make
about?
money? Just off of them? Just off him and his friends?
Yep. All right. One of them fake geek girls. Really? They actually exist? I thought they were like an urban legend or cryptid. You don't think she was actually in here for a comic, do you? Why not? She was wearing a Harley Quinn shirt. It's a trap, kid. Part of the whole no-life model decoy routine. You saw her waltz her ass in here and getting all her eyes on her, getting everyone's juicing going. Soon as she can get her attention fixed, boom, she's out of here. Too bad, she was kind of cute. Remind me of an avatar I once knew. Oh, look, kid, girls don't like comics. I mean, you ever see a real-life girl in here before? Exactly. No, not your story, you frickin' an ass.
Yeah, exactly. You're not nice enough to keep the girls at the store.
But then he basically hears how he has a situation with some new toys that he needs to get to right ASAP. And he basically says, like, he gets to be behind. That means you got the con while I'm gone. And then I'm trusting you to not fuck me over here. Wait, what me? The bus? And don't touch the register or the phone. Don't go behind the counter. Don't do anything fucking stupid. Anyone wants anything, tell them to wait till I get back here in an hour. Okay, listen up, people. This guy's in charge while I'm out. Fuck with him and you're banned. And unfortunately, he gets power mad. What? He's behind the counter.
Of course.
Looking at all the old books. He's breaking all of the rules. And then when the others show up, complaining and everything, they're just doing typical arguing about Super Saiyans and all that. And then when they see that he's there, it's like, no way, this isn't right. And then you can already see Bill's going power mad.
That's too funny.
And basically, he then starts telling him up, like, just shut up, you planet hole, and you're playing on listen, Joe. And Joe hired me, not you, you fat ugly fuck. He never hired you. Even that moron knows you're a one-man inferior five who shits up everything he sweats on. A thing so pathetic, its own mother had a heart attack to try to escape the Superboy-loving mutant.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah. Well, okay, we get it, Bill. With a little power comes a little douchebag. You won, okay? Lay off the guy. I'll give you a fucking break. Like you give a rat-a-tat's ass about Josh's big fat baby Huey feeling. All your sleek steak brain cares about is your fake ass and blood and guts bullshit parade. You and that modern master of horror crap. Only a tentacle and fucked stupid piece of shit like you could get off on. You're dumber than a box set of Lucio Fully DVDs and twice as nauseating. And you, but I didn't say anything. Of course you did. You gutless wonder twin shape of a whip form of a again. See what I mean? How it's just like I'm a professional, so fuck the club and fuck you.
Yep.
Oh boy, just look at. Yep. See what I mean? Though how. This is where this is really matching current or more current stuff where you give him a little power. I think he put it best. A little power comes a little douchebag.
Oh, for sure.
And
like you have to have that little bit of douchebag to be able to be the boss, but you're not the boss yet.
No, and you were told not to do any of the stuff and you're breaking the rules.
Exactly. You're just breaking all the rules.
Then, big fight, smash up the joint. And
Jesus.
I gotta say, as big of an asshole as the guy is, he doesn't deserve his store to get trashed.
No, he don't.
It's his livelihood.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's got insurance, but he seems like the guy not to.
Yeah, but again. 29 years I've been here through recessions, snowstorms, hurricanes, and then they do that. They backstab him.
Yeah.
And then what does Bill start to do? Tell him how they all stole stuff. And again, he's like, what is wrong with you? You steal from me, you wreck my toy, and now you disrespect my ass right in front of me? And then Bill showing what happens when he really pushed too far. He's ready to burn everything.
What is wrong with them being arsonists?
Oh
I know. And then the kiddie pool saves him. And because of everything that happened, we also find out that Joe actually tried to reignite things to get insurance, but he got caught.
No way.
Yep. And arrested, and thus their parents say they can never be around each other again. And of all of them, Bill's the one who's like, Christ, Mom, can't this wait? Shit, trying to watch Age of Shields here, telling you that he's the one who just doesn't care. And of all of them, Jerry is the one who's the decent guy, who's clearly feels horrible about what happened. The others, these three, bah. They might look it, but deep down, they're just upset that they lost the comic store.
Yeah, they're just hurt.
Yep. But yeah, and then we get the last one. And lo, there shall be an epilogue. This is years later, somewhat in a future, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I just gotta double check something because once we get to the end, Evan Dorkin does explain the future of the characters.
Okay.
So hold on, let me just load it up. Okay, but yeah, basically Comic-Con and everything. And look at this artwork.
Hmm.
You know, just look at all the details
cool,
here. Big Barda thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool
Yep. We see, and of course, we see Bill at Sneaking Comics. And he just like
still
right into his bag. Yep. And he meets up. Yep. He meets up with Jerry, who we find out has become a professional D&D-er. He's actually making a good. Yep, but he's actually becoming a decent, relatively successful at it. But yeah, meets up with him, and it's like, yeah, he's just trying. Like, he didn't expect to see him here, so he's just like, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" I mean,
that's funny.
And again, years have passed, so if you were in Jerry's shoes, you probably do something like that too, right? Like if you recognize them, be like, "Hey, how you doing, man?"
Yeah.
Like again, when decades have passed, and you at least, yep, or at least you hope that they became better.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the case where you say, like, "Hey, I became better," I'm sure they all became better.
Yeah, right. Except
because he hasn't talked with any of them.
He doesn't talk with any of them.
Well, not until this point. But I just loved it though, how they're actually like, "So, what brings you all the way out here to No Fans Land?" Just trying to kill time before some meeting with some people. Figured I'd try to hunt down some Conan back issues. Meeting here at Comic-Con? Shit, sounds like the BD kid's doing okay. Oh yeah, can't complain. How about you? Things going all right? Yeah, well, haven't burned any comic shops in a while. Ha 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 ha! Holy shit, what was up with us? You're asking me? We should have all been on fucking meds. Yeah, and not just Josh's mom's stash. Oh shit, don't even. Again, for a moment, because it's been so long, they're just focusing on the good stuff or making fun of their past stuff. Again, that's what would happen. If you meet them and you're just there for a short time, that's all you would think about at first. It's if you stay together longer and you get more comfortable, the bad shit comes back up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially if you are the same. Like if you didn't change at all.
And yep, are you fucking kidding me? This son of a bitch is who you want us to save a seat for? The only seat I saved that for is a walk-in and venereal disease is that fucking electric chair. Tell me this isn't real. Tell me this is a shitty hologram. And like, whoa, hey, everyone just stop, okay? Josh, guys, come on, don't leave. He's trying to go like, I don't know, Pete, I guess I was thinking it was fate, randomly encountering Bill right before our meetup. Because I was thinking this would be an opportunity for us to settle things, bury the hatchet, talk over old times. Maybe I was thinking we were grown-ups now who don't need to yell at each other and act like dicks in public. Maybe Jerry's got a point. We're not teenage fanboys anymore, are we? I mean, he said old times and not ye old times. He didn't, didn't he? See, good omens. Come on, guys. I don't know. Got a bad feeling about this. Tell you what, I'll pay for lunch, okay? What do you say? Seriously, you're trying to bribe us with shitty, overpriced convention food? Yes. But yep, we then see just like all the stuff like for example, he deals with Pete deals with more porn stuff.
Oh god.
And look at this, like he's even says like, I'm now officially a sick mofo. Like wow, cool. No comment.
Oh god.
So you definitely tell this guy has creeper face all over him. He's representing the fans who are in it for the sex and would become basically, he's not going to jail eventually, isn't he? You feel that way?
Yeah, definitely. Like from kind of a somewhat normal man's perspective, which I'm just saying, freaking gross. It's freaking gross and creepery and stalkery looking, and like we left that back in the 70s, bro.
Exactly.
Leave it where it was.
Now we find out, like, well, basically after we move, my parents insisted I go to college. Worst 4 years of my life. They want me to get a business degree like my dad. He decided to do writing class, but like, Mr. Levy, are you sure that you want to be here? This is an introduction to writing course, not to superhero fan fiction. Oh, and might I add, I believe Spider-Man is hyphenated. And then we basically find out how he, first of all, dealing with this a nemesis, Greedo 318, who basically mocked him and everything and almost tried to convince him to kill himself and everything. That comes up later. But he eventually worked his way up to be doing some comic news sites and everything. And he's hoping to use that to get connections to comic writers and everything so he can actually write for them. In other words, he's representing CBR. You know, those type of people, the ones who work their way up to try and use all this stuff slow and steady to get his way up there.
Yeah.
But even like, I've got connections. But then, of course, that sets Bill off. And they say, see, I didn't get a free ride here like you and Pete. I pay for my own badge, my own money, which I earned as an independent dealer and expert in comics and collectibles. So you sell shit on eBay? Hey, that's a gross misinterpretation. He basically claimed that he would go there and try and do what he suggested earlier, grade comics. Turns out, though, he would just go there, read them, and try to seek some of them out.
Of course, like a snake.
Yeah, again, entitled.
Yeah, exactly. They think everything is theirs. If it's not theirs, they're going to have it.
Yep, and yet, like I said, with Jerry, he even says he went pro after separating from it all. And then he eventually got, he runs workshops, writes articles, and even got some sponsorships and everything. In other words, he's fulfilling his life and yet still doing what he loves.
Right. That's awesome.
Yep. And then they start focusing on this. Oh, and yes, they make fun at Lady Thor.
Okay.
Who was just starting with this game out. The hatred was starting. But this is what he said. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, right. That's just one of those petty side projects.
And then, of course, like, hey, we cosplay. We never cosplayed. But then we see this hottie girl from a nerd's news channel and everything. And it turns out she's Jerry's girlfriend. And, of course, we never had a girl at a club meeting before. Girls weren't allowed. Oh.
Girls
And of
don't want to
course,
be allowed.
Yep. And then they start just going over all the usual crap as she's there sitting there. And it's like, yeah, I can't believe how seriously you took everything. Of course, someone like you would understand. Excuse me? And then I'm like, well, excuse me for not passing your bullshit nerd test.
Exactly.
Oh, and then he decides to taunt Josh with the head.
Oh no.
But then
Really?
she asks the big question. Were you guys ever actually friends? And then he goes into this big rant and basically saying how this club is bitch free and all that. And even Pete, who's, as he said, I'm someone who thinks of women as much more than receptacles. Even I'm offended by that shit.
What the fuck?
And then because they all walk away after it, because he has to make things worse, you know what he decides to do? Take someone's megaphone. Well, first of all, he then tells Jerry, oh, remember that one girl you knew? I told her, well, there was a rumor going, I went around and told everyone that you were claiming that she fucked you, and eventually drove her away. And Jerry loses it. And then Jerry reveals, oh, he was Greedo 318. So again, showing us how psychotic they are. Again, except for Jerry. Jerry had a good reason to get ticked off.
That's wild.
Yep, but then what does Bill do? Takes a megaphone and yells, surprise Firefly panel! And this was at the peak of Josh Whedon being, fans loving him.
Of course.
So basically, that's like yelling fire in a crowded theater.
A full-on riot with that one.
I love this. Fuck Josh Whedon. The only one who's not running, but unfortunately, that caused like a huge mob.
So ridiculous.
Yep, and then
Oh my god.
And look, they're all inside the Ecto-1 as they're just there, and he's still bitching and complaining, just moping, and then finally saying like, Jesus, Bill, enough already! And then he's just like, what? Are you crazy? You're the loser Gale Firefly in the Chronic Convention Center, not me. And then he said, you threw the first punch. No, what? No, he doesn't. Well, then you went and got those two involved. Shit, that's right. Yeah, what the fuck, Jerry? Excuse me? Can I just point out that no one forced you two to kick his ass? Oh, for fuck's sake, I didn't even know you'd be here, Bill. And then he finally decides, shit, he decides just to get out of there and find Mandy and everything. And yeah, it just shows that they're still miserable. And that's it.
They're just.
And here's what we find out. And here's what we find out about the future. Josh doesn't become a comic editor. While he inherits his child at home, he would end up suffering from a heart attack like his mother and dying from it decades later. Pete would become a registered sex offender after an incident with an underage fan and would later die of an overdose at the age of 36. And Bill would later die alone and unloved.
Jeez.
The only one who had a good future is Jerry, and he and Mandy do get together.
That's good, at least. At least there's one happy ending.
From the guy who actually tried to change.
Exactly. That's
But
the
see-
point. Decades later, you're still the same child, but now you're a man-child.
But see what I mean? No, this is a case where I don't blame Dorkin for just feeling disenfranchised with these characters once he realized he ended up being too much on the nose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, and there's some other little smaller stories and everything. This is from the collection. Oh, and yeah, here's from the cartoon. It was a TV pilot that that Adult Swim was doing, but it never got off the ground. But I would have liked to have seen this go to series.
Yeah. That would
Yeah.
have been-
Oh, look, even the guy, one of the creator of the Venture Brothers, loved this.
It kind of looks like that same style, too.
Yeah, it
like the
does.
Venture Brothers series and Space Ghost. And
So, what'd you guys think of this? Like I said, so it's again, what started off as a joke does kind of hit a bit too much at home, doesn't it?
yeah, for me, this is like, so it's like the lowest point that you can get, but at the same time, you're so invested that you can't just stop. Like,
Exactly.
you're so invested in the petty that you have to be right, and you can't stop yourself and change, and it just eats you up your whole life if you don't change it.
Yep, and like I said, as it showed, Jerry was the only one who decided, you know what? There was so much bad times, but I still love what I do, but I gotta do better. And he became better. Bill felt still the entitled ass, and Josh just kept feeling like he was owed, so much. And at least Josh tried. I will give him props for that. He was doing the long game that had very little chance of success, but at least he was trying.
Yeah, that's my thing too, though. Like when they're decades older, still acting like that. You just think,
I think we can all be like arrogant sometimes.
Yep.
Like have those like you know this so well, tell me this.
Yes.
Like we can all do that. And like I don't know as much about like the comic books and the fandom and stuff like that, but I at least like hear enough and like how people are, and then us playing video games, it was a lot like that, and video games have kind of launched themselves more into what comic books were, obviously, because the landscape changed. And like I remember going to GameStop that one time. It was the midnight releases, and like everybody was staring. Like
exactly. There's a girl present.
Yeah, like oh my god,
There's a girl.
There's a girl here.
Yeah, like this.
It's a freaking GameStop full of nerds, and it wasn't at the time where there wasn't a whole lot of girl gamers,
Or if they were, they didn't make themselves known.
Yeah, that's why I say all the time. I really don't like online games because like something I liked was turned sour. Just from, like I don't like hateful arrogance, like, and like when it comes like into like racist and all that type of stuff, I just think that needs to stay out of it, because we all like this one thing. we can all continue to like this one thing, and whether this was like a joke to him or he just did, you know, think, wow, this is really crazy. It's going to get to this point, you know, just because history repeats itself. And I'm sure there's, you know, before comics, there was something else that, you know, did this. And it's like, it was pretty obvious it was coming, you know, because things like that just happen.
Yep. And it's clear that these last two issues were done as a way to basically say, this is not good. This leads to disaster.
The internet has really sparked the worst of newer comic stuff.
I'll say this. Was there a point where the people involved with comics started to bring some of this on themselves and push people too hard? Yes. I would say around 2014, 15, 16-ish, especially around all different Marvel, when you had people, especially at Marvel, telling off fans saying, if you don't like this drastic change we're doing and not giving you an alternative, you're the problem. Yeah, that didn't help. But then all I think that did was group up people who already had bad viewpoints. And because how many of these people do you see out there who reveal they'd rather there be no women writing comics, for example, and you're like, whoa, we're not saying that.
Yeah, nobody should ever say that.
Well, there's just a whole lot of closed-minded gatekeeping things.
Yeah,
for sure. But it's also like, oh, I'm more nerdy than you. I should get the opportunity to draw this thing or write this character or create this thing because I did all these other things that you didn't do. But
it came out. It got a dick measuring contest.
Exactly, but
to me, and I just want to say this quickly, is like the landscape right now, even just the landscape in all the things is like you're gonna complain, but you're still giving them your money.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They're gonna all of a sudden backlash at you and be like, well, you shouldn't be this way. Just deal with what we're changing. And, you know, then the comic book people or anybody just gets mad. It's that whole, like, you know, corporate.
Fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, but they're still going to give them their money, and they're probably going to be disappointed. If you just let some of these things not catch a blaze, I mean, pun intended, then you could, you know, have more of a mutual, I guess, respect or mutual, like,
that's what they should.
Tank you if you tank us. You know?
Yeah, but I think now when it comes to say Marvel's one, they have sadly blindly devoted fans who are either buying it and never reading it, or just buying it and just enjoying it no matter how bad it is, or just buy it because they're completionists, and that ensure that, as proven with Spider-Man lately, you could have editorial be utter assholes to the fans, telling them off intentionally without any hiddenness, try to ruin characters because they don't like them and want fans to shut up about them, like Mary Jane, and so. You can't even deny it, and you know they do stuff like that because they know they can get away with it. They know that their sales aren't going to dip no matter what they do.
Yeah.
And that is a bad thing on the other end.
Either they have somebody or they have enough money that's going to be able to fix it.
I just don't understand, like, how, like, anything is supposed to get better if you just want the same thing over and over again. How could you just deal with the same version of Batman or the same version of Wonder Woman?
That's true.
You know, like that's
I get that.
It's like you don't evolve, and those are the arguments, though. Like, oh my God, you changed my character.
Well, that's why re-releases and remasters are always divisive, also, though, because like they'll update something, or they'll add something to the game, or change something that people just
censor
to try to destroy the game for it. And it's like it's the same game you played, just a little different on this new system or whatever.
At least you can play it.
Exactly. At least it's not locked or turned off, and you can play it.
Or at least it can actually work on your modern system.
Right, but it's like there's so many games out there that our servers are off, or the game does not work for you anymore.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
I'd like to see, like, I liked this premise, and I'd like to see it.
Video games.
No,
Mhm.
no. I was gonna say, and you made me
Oh, I'm
lose
sorry.
what I
Whoop,
was.
whoop,
Oh,
whoop.
like if they made like a sorry.
What?
Okay, if they made like a kind of version of this where like you did just have the corporations just like if there was a book that was just the same, like a book
Just-
series that just
yeah.
stayed the same,
Yeah, right.
and the
And it's the
fanboys
exact
were
same
like
year
I
after
would
year,
love to
week
see
after
like
week. Yeah.
that type of
Let's see what
a
happens.
breakdown
Right.
to it, you know, like show like have a series of comic books and then show like one of them is like, oh, the Batman that never changed.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Yes.
And
I mean, and again, I get that, and I don't want things to stay the same either. I don't want that. But when again, it's the drastic changes, and it's done purely because they think they're improving it, and they will be that arrogant about it. That's when I have a problem. It's like
Okay.
it's like the people who made Ring of Power, who basically went out of the way and said, "We're fixing Tolkien." That's
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Yeah, it is, but also like they're interpreting it their way and trying to add whatever they need to make it fit for them.
Yeah,
or
but yeah.
whatever they think is best.
But then
Yeah,
they tell
I
the
get where you're
fans, "You have
coming
no."
from.
But then they act like the fans have no right to be upset.
Right, but they don't have the right to be as upset as they get. Like you shouldn't be doing death threats and stuff over literature
Agree.
that
I
was
agree.
400 years old and being interpreted as something completely different. Or even now,
Now they're
like
free
we've just
to-
said with like remasters and
Yeah.
whatever.
Agree.
Like you're reworking something, so there's gonna be some things that are different. It might feel different to play. You might not like it as much, but you also can't expect it to be perfect.
No.
You need to find the good and joy in it, the what you do like in it, and realize like they didn't have to make that for you. They could have just left it where you couldn't have access to that anymore.
And here's what I think. Here's where I feel people should be able to go. They should be allowed to speak their mind, to give legit criticism, not insulting criticism, scathing legit criticism, yes, but not insulting criticism, and be allowed to be at least heard, but never go after the creators, and also choose to even say, like, I ain't playing it, or I ain't watching it if it's going to be like this, without being told, how dare you say that? That's where I feel it's the perfect reaction. Say, give criticism, even scathing if need be, and be allowed to not do, even say you're not going to do it without rebuke.
No, I think honestly, I'm sorry if I think that things were better when it came to media, especially before like the shock culture, the Howard Stern type shit. Because then everybody just started feeling so free to really be egregious with what they say about other people and how they do things. Like even us sometimes, like we look at something that somebody spent maybe 20, 30 hours drawing and putting into a freaking sketch or whatever, and it's like, ew, gross. Like there's plenty of things where it's like we don't appreciate things right away. Sometimes it takes longer. So it's like you give that immediate response. You go type whatever you want to say, like whatever crazy, outlandish, out of the world thing you would never say to somebody's face, to these people that just spent 20, 30 hours working on this thing. And then they just have to deal with that as if you didn't say anything.
Oh, no, I get that.
Or eventually respond like, hey, you're taking this too far or whatever. But it's they have access to just make a snap judgment, type about it, and then not deal with consequences of those actions. And then continue to ramp up more and more, or realize that they can deal with the change and calm down. But like if you can't deal with the change and calm down, then like you are the asshole. You are the problem.
No, I get that. I do get that. I do get that. Like I said, it's that because you also don't want the people to just then come in and change things willy-nilly and then be told just the whole accept it, it's a whole that whole and I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying how other people push it, the whole just consume the media and just enjoy it. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying there are people who push that mindset and it's like, oh, come on, that's going too far the other way.
Yeah.
Like, shut up and consume.
What I think is especially in like, games, comics, even board games, card games, all that type of stuff. When it comes to like lore and Tolkien, especially because of what he based his writings off of, were like very influential written words and Beowulf and
right,
even things going on at the time, like war and stuff like that. So it's like what we have now has been inspiration from, like, if you boil it down all the way to like maybe it doesn't work.
For sure.
You know, like how Disney, like Lion King is, the Safari Hamlet.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So it's like there's inspiring, there's copying, there's stealing, there's all of that. That's, whatever. But
I hear you.
What we are, what people are arguing about, being toxic about, is if you boil it down to the inspiration, it's only a few works.
Yeah.
So it's
the
like
same thing.
we have all of this stuff from like 12 books maybe, or 12 things.
Right.
So it's like we have to keep evolving and also saying, no, you can't say that to us. We are the ones paying for this stuff. And, fans deserve to have some backlash too, because there are bad apples. There's always bad apples everywhere, like stalking, doxing, swatting, the things that are more relevant.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Those are the things of going too far in the reaction. All I'm saying is that people should be allowed to, at the same time, speak their criticisms and be allowed to do it without. Again, it was like when All New, All Different was out. You have people saying you can't insult Miles, and even legitimately, otherwise you're an istophobe. And that's where I feel like no, they should be allowed to legitimately speak and criticize without fear of rebuke.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, I was gonna say, to add on to what Steph was saying, also too, like, if it's not coming from the artist, then it's something that should be disregarded. If the artist is telling you, "Hey, just deal with it, consume it, or don't," then that's kind of their way of saying, like, I did my best. If you read it and you like it, awesome. And if you read it and you dislike it, okay, but read it. At least read it before you make your decision. Just watching something or seeing somebody else comment about it or talk about it or watch a video about it is not
agreed.
Yourself, but it's also you make that snap judgment and you say something really freaking wild. It's not like hey, I think that this change is devastating to the character. It's always like, this change is gonna kill your fucking book.
And I agree with that. And I agree with that.
So off the handle, and then it's the fans talking to each other that way that really starts to destroy things. Because people see that. The artists see the people destroying each other instead of just actually reading the book or watching the series or whatever,
I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Like I said, that's when you get to the unhinged ones. I'm not talking about the unhinged ones. I'm talking about the ones that there are those who become unhinged because they tried to do it legitimately and were told off.
Yeah, no, and like I said, if it's from the artist telling you off, like, that's different from just some douche.
That's why I don't let.
Always critics.
Always.
That's why I don't let the new Star Wars fans tell me I'm wrong for enjoying the old one and criticizing the new stuff.
Yeah, no, don't tell me I'm not allowed to do something and like whatever, expect me to just listen to you. Like I'm allowed to do that if I want to. But being told that by somebody that created the work, then it's also kind of unprofessional. But like,
Big time.
if the artist is unprofessional, that's kind of different too. I just feel like at least respect the work that was put in, and like critique it fairly. And if you do make a snap judgment, then go back and correct yourself if your opinion changes. You know, don't just be that unhinged dude and then not apologize later if your opinion changes, you know.
Oh, agree. 100% agree here. Like I said, that's why these guys represent the worst. They represent the worst.
For sure.
Because no one would want
basically. And then one arsonist. The four horsemen and one arsonist.
Exactly.
Well, one of them changed, but toxicity is bad. I mean, is man good or bad inherently, you know?
Yep.
So it's like, because you can't be like, oh, everyone's going to receive this, you know? And right now, especially right now, you get a lot of opinion. Like that's all you can find is somebody's opinion on something or somebody's critique on something. So it's like, and then it might shape, you know, your vision of what if you get to see. I always caveat myself like, well, you know, I love video games. I don't play as many as the average, you know, person who calls himself a gamer, and I'm not even that knowledgeable, but like I've watched this one. You know, and I've seen from what I've watched it being played, and I've watched it being played, you know, like I always try to do that because my opinion is just from me watching somebody like Jacksepticeye and like liking his opinions because he influences me because I like watching him and having fun with him. So it's like, you know, it's always just there's just so much opinion. There's not just like unbiased, like, well, this is what they did, and you know, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Like, there's so few just like critics that are critics. Everyone's just a person sitting in their basement now.
Right, and those a lot of times, like us included, you know, like us included, a lot of times it'll be something where it's like, you're not really thinking about the fact that these people sat down and created this thing, a comic book, TV show, or whatever, and they're actually creating it with the intention for it to be something special.
Yeah.
And for it to be something special for the next, you know, 5, 10, 20, 50 years. So there's always this thing of what goes in and what doesn't, and how much longevity is it gonna have, you know? And a lot of people don't take that into consideration, where it's like, you might not like this now, but like this is gonna be the new norm in a few months. Like, this is the new norm. We're seeing it before everybody else.
Well, also,
you know,
an artist or a sellout.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, geez, the whole artist sellout.
That's a whole other. That's a whole other whole discussion.
Because it's, you know,
right.
There's so many people that go sell out.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles to it.
Well, because some people just want to put their stuff out and have just one person connect.
Have their name on it.
Just one person connect on the same level or a totally different level than them, you know, and then you know, it's just always going to be bound to happen that things are going to get so big. They're going to have a specific fandom, specific person, you know, tied to it. Then just,
Exactly. But so overall, what did you guys, so give your overall final thoughts on the book. What did you both think of it? You think it really did nail it on the head?
I think that, like, what was said, how they acted, everything like that, the way the characters were, really was like past meta, modern meta, future meta of what pop culture conversations become for teenagers, especially. Like, they're the ones that are mostly having these types of arguments, even as adults. But like, I think that I would only give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7. I would say that it has its importance, because you need people to read this so that they don't become this.
Exactly.
You know, but then at the same time, like the world could be without it.
And this is
You
also
know?
basically like one good guy and three other
Yes,
just unhinged people.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have a whole group. Well, maybe you do.
You
have a whole
do,
group
but you
of
don't.
Unhinged people.
Right.
One of them's actually an arsonist. Like,
right. And there's
that's
two
the
that are.
worst of them, and then there's
Yeah.
the rest of them. So it is showing everything, which
One's
is
a complete creeper.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Like you
give
have
it a
the whole.
6, though.
You have all of the different archetypes. You know.
Yeah.
I give it a 6. I like the art a little bit
I
more. I
would-
thought there was a lot of writing. So if I were
Yes.
reading this, I probably would be
A
upset
bit annoyed.
and kind of bored and annoyed
Yeah.
in the first couple books.
To me,
Yeah.
I feel like the art was actually good though. Like I do think that it does kind of look like the Venture Bros and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Funny thing though, this guy, you want to know what movie adaptation he worked on?
what?
Hold on. Here we go.
Oh
Bill
my
and Ted.
Bill and
That's
Ted.
He worked on the Bill and Ted comic.
That's awesome. Those look good. Yeah, see, it's almost like the Archie and
Yeah.
Jughead style too. You know.
Yep. I love it. A most excellent movie adaptation.
Yes.
Funny.
Super 90s.
Yep. But yeah, same guy. Same guy.
It's awesome.
But yeah, so thank you both for joining me on this. Thank you, everyone else. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Bye.